Hey broskies, what's up? It's Sona, your friendly neighborhood weird but cool artist. Today's video is going to be about Talking Tom and Friends, which is a mobile game series with funny, silly little characters. And today I'll be using my art powers to draw these characters if they were from a horror movie. The first character that I'm starting with is Talking Angela. So Talking Angela is one of the mobile apps for this series, and she's basically this white cat that you talk to. You can have chats with her, she asks you questions, you can interact with her and also give her gifts and stuff like that. Just like most of the games from the Talking Tom and Friends series, it's pretty simple. There's usually a pretty minimal amount of content in these games, but nonetheless, it definitely entertains kids. I've actually never played any of these games before myself, but I've definitely heard a lot about them when they first were popping up. And while Talking Angela was not the first game from this series, it definitely became a very big thing when there was this theory going on about her, about how there's apparently an old man sitting behind the Talking Angela bot, and supposedly there was a rumor that there was a camera in Angela's eyes and she was looking at the kids through the phone screen even when the phone was turned off. This actually made it to the news, so this rumor spread really big and it got really out of hand. People were claiming that with one of the older versions of the game, you could see a reflection of someone in her eyes, which is one of the main things that led people to making such a rumor of a random old man being behind Talking Angela. And the rumors got so bad that there was so many people and parents telling other parents to not let their children download this game because Talking Angela is watching their kids even when their phone is off, and that apparently you can't even delete the game off of your phone because Talking Angela won't let you. Needless to say, this stuff was proven to be false, and the rumor got so bad that even the people who make these games in this series came out and said that this entire rumor was a hoax and it was ridiculous. So for me drawing Angela, I decided to base it off of the rumors because it was such a big thing. So I really wanted to focus on the theory about Angela supposedly watching you through the screen, or the phone camera. So in the original game, it kind of shows her on the side at like a 3/4 angle. So I thought it would be much more unsettling if I placed the view of her directly in front of the player and she is fully staring them down. All of her attention is on them to the point where it's really creepy and it actually feels like she is truly watching you, even if she is just on the screen. And since the theory is about her stalking kids, I think it would only make sense for me to give her more than one set of eyes, to say the least. I gave her eyes that go all the way to the top of her head, as well as on the sides. Then I topped it off with a really sinister grin. And I also thought that it would be a cool addition if I gave her several pupils in her main eye, just because, so she can really see you. In her normal design, Angela looks very soft and round, so I changed it up a bit with mine by making her look more pointy. Her jawline is very defined in my version, because I think one of the things about Angela is that she wants to be this perfect, elegant lady cat. And for a lot of people, one of the best facial features that you can have is a very nice, defined jawline, so I gave her that. I made her very thin and also gave her a really defined collarbone. And to make it look like she's even more staring you down, I put her leaning on the table, having both of her hands together, and kind of look like she's in this thinking pose where she's also really focused. With my usual liner, I try to go for a more smooth line art, but for this I think it would make sense to make it more sketchy, a little bit more rough. I think it adds more creepiness to it, and I think it fits this very well. As for the background, I didn't really change much. I usually don't even draw backgrounds, but I did for this one. I think it only makes sense. I didn't really change it. I did make the background a little bit darker and also made it look like this is an actual phone screen that you're looking at. I put the little bar up at the top. It says it's 3 a.m., which I think that was just a funny little addition, as well as the battery and the Wi-Fi symbol. And she's also wearing the blue dress that she has in the game. Lastly, I topped it off with her having a little chat bubble that says, "I see you." Next up on this list, we are doing none other than Talking Tom, who is basically the protagonist of this series. He was the first character to come out, as well as his game back in 2010, which looked really wonky compared to the Talking Tom that people know now. For my design, I'll be basing it off the original Talking Tom and not the newer one. So unlike Angela's game, Tom's game is a bit more simple. Rather than chatting and have a conversation with Tom, you interact with him in different ways, such as punching him in the face or the stomach. There's several little things that you can do with Tom, but by far, the most popular feature that he had was where you could say something to him, and then he would repeat it back to you in this Alvin and the Chipmunks voice. I mean, I can definitely see why this would be entertaining to kids. I mean, who wouldn't want to hear Tom say,
"I have committed arson"?
I think the old version of Talking Tom looks kind of creepy. I don't know why, just his body proportions and the way his head is shaped and his face just look really unsettling. I mean, I was already scared of Tom before I made this drawing, but after... So my main inspiration for my drawing is from the gameplay. Specifically, when you make Tom repeat something that you say, his mouth opens so weird. It is so unsettling to look at. Why? Why does it look like that? In my opinion, this is nightmare fuel on its own, okay? But since that was already scary to me, I made it 10 times worse. I took that as my inspiration and I made it look so dramatic, and I made his mouth open so big that his jaw doesn't even exist anymore. His mouth has been opened so wide that he cannot even close it. The jaw is practically unhinged, and also his lip skin is kind of just hanging there because I always found it really weird how whenever he talked, his lip is just so stretched out. So I made it so stretched out to the point where it's just hanging there. Another thing is that one of the animations in this game for Tom is really cringeworthy. It's this little animation where he walks up to the screen, he takes his claws, and then he proceeds to just slide and scratch his claw down the phone screen. And it just makes this terrible noise that no one wants to hear. So I thought that would be perfect to add into my drawing as well, just to make this look even more unsettling. There isn't really any lore behind this, but I decided to make his eyes pitch black along with this black fluid flowing through it because, you know, edgy, am I right? There honestly isn't really much more I can say about this. I just tried to make it look as gruesome as possible. I didn't bother adding blood to this because I already think it's bad enough. I also made his whiskers crooked to top it off, and I put a brick wall in the background just like in the game. Alright, lastly, I'll be drawing Talking Ben. So Talking Ben is a dog. He's actually not a cat, unlike the other two. Just like the others, his game is really simple. He basically just sits in a chair and he's reading a newspaper about the arson that Tom committed. Just like the others, the Talking Ben game has been out for a while now, but as of recently, it has become really popular, specifically because of this one YouTuber that played this game, Speedy. And a lot of people found it really funny, including myself, and now there's just a bunch of memes about it. Out of all the characters, Ben is definitely the laziest because he literally just sits there reading his newspaper, and whenever you try to bug him, he just tells you to shut up. But you know, when he isn't on his newspaper, he's on the phone, and he also repeats what you say, just like Tom does. But instead of repeating it in an Alvin and Chipmunk's voice, he repeats it in the lower tone voice. So it's more like he's actually insulting you. So yes, if you guys couldn't already tell, I'm basing my concept for this drawing around the whole meme with Speedy. If you haven't seen the video of Speedy playing Talking Ben game, just to sum it up for you, he does not get along with Ben.
I just want to be friends. That's all I want to be. I want to be friends.
Yes.
Okay, we friends now?
No.
They fight a lot, and it's just super funny. So I'm basing my concept for this drawing off of that, and one of the main parts in the video that turned into a really big meme is where Speedy asked Ben if he loved God, and then Ben said no.
Do you love God?
Ho ho ho.
Do you love God?
Ho ho ho.
Do you love God?
No.
And then it's literally what I'm basing my drawing off of. I have Ben literally on the cross, and there's just these flames, and then Speedy is just watching Ben on the cross, you know, asking Ben if he loves God, and then Ben just says no. I also made Ben look like he had zero regrets to show that he is purely evil. His eyes look soulless, and he does not fear death. So yeah, that's the concept for this drawing. Ben is burning at the stake, and then Speedy is just watching him die. I actually think I did really good with making the fire. It looks pretty. I also made the sky nighttime and starry so that it makes the fire look prettier. There you broskies have it. That was me drawing Talking Tom and Friends if they were from a horror movie. Let me know your favorite one in the comments. And okay, bye!